Hello guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Christabel Jam for those of you who are new here on my channel, and welcome to this episode of my video. If you've been watching my videos, I don't take you for granted and all of that. Thank you for watching my introduction video, get to know me tag, and the video about hypertension. If you have not watched, please head over to the description of this video. You will see links to the previous videos and just watch that. So today I wanted to talk about my journey to Plab, how it all started, how I've struggled, my challenges and all that. All right, so actually my journey to Plab started in 2022, but I actually wrote Plab last year, 2025. So how did it start? So in 2022, while doing NYSC, I've always wanted to write Plab anyway. So, but I took the decision. I was like, okay, now I'm ready to write Plab. So I made inquiries, watched YouTube videos, and went ahead to register for my IELTS exam. Before you are eligible to write Plab, of course, you must have been a graduate, medical graduate, right? Yeah, but that aside, you must write an English exam. So this could either be IELTS or OET. That's for those who English language is not their first language or those who schooled in non-English speaking country. So in 20, I digress. Sorry guys. So 2022, I was like, okay, let me go ahead and write my English exam. I went ahead, booked for my IELTS exam. I think this was sometime in July, June, August. I can't really even remember to be honest. But I had this friend who were actually, So guys, let me digress a bit again. So if for any exam you want to write, if you know anybody that is writing the exam, it's better you do it with that person because it's better you do it with someone than doing it alone. There are some things you might not really understand properly, but this person might actually explain for you. So this has actually helped me over the years through all the exams that I've written. So I am a friend. We started studying together. I'll write that's for writing. I'll write a letter, send to him to vet. He will write, send to me to vet. So we practiced together, I think, for about a month ish plus thereabout. And we're like, okay, so now we're ready to write this exam. Mind you, I didn't pay for any tutorial. I was like, okay, I can do this. I'm going to do a detailed video of how I prepare the resources and all of that and post for you guys. And if you're interested, let me know. Just let me know and I'll make that video. So I actually went ahead for this exam and wrote this exam to my greatest surprise, guys. When the exam came out, I was so angry. Do you know why I was angry? Instead of me to be sad, it was more of anger than being sad because I was actually very angry that there are some categories that people do well, there are some that people don't do well. So I think I paid very much attention to writing, and because that's one of the sections that people struggle with. So I'll write. I think over 2 weeks I was writing almost daily. I was almost writing an AC every day, and I made sure it was looked through by my friend. I made sure it was actually. I made sure I sent it to someone to help me vet it. So when the result came out, I was actually very sad and more angry because I scored very well in my writing, my speaking, and my listening. Or reading failed me. I was like, God, why? Of course, I know that English has never been my strong point, but I prepared very well for this exam, and I shouldn't be failing an English exam. It's not like I failed anyway, but I didn't really get the required score, which is needed for me to register for Plab exam. Which for Plab exam, you need to get at least 7 in each module, and then an overall band score of 7.5. So of course, you need to score 7.5 in like two modules thereabout. So I was like, this point I was devastated, angry, and then I think I wasn't really, the motivation wasn't there. And then yeah, so this my friend that we're studying together, he's actually an optometrist, and for them the required score wasn't really for 7 in all modules. So he got 6.5 in, I think, in writing thereabout, but it was enough for his own specialty. So he went ahead and processed his UK stuff and all of that. So I was left alone. I was just discouraged to even go on with this exam. I was like, God, what do I do? Even money wise, I was going through a lot, even financially. To be honest, I wasn't really even financially buoyant. It's like keep on writing English exam. So I took a break. In fact, a whole 1 year break. I even had to go start a medical officer job in a teaching hospital in internal medicine to be precise. So I had primaries, right, which is an exam you need to get residency to start residency program in Nigeria. So the hospital was not really recruiting at the moment, but at least they were allowed to take medical officer. So the plan was that I'll be working indirectly. We're working as medical officers, right? But our training will be counted. So when they eventually take, they will just absorb us in, and then the trainings we've done will actually count. So this was what I was doing. But in the midst of that, I was so depressed. I was not happy. I was going through a lot. So this was like in 2023. So in 2023, I actually even quit this job. At the end of the day, I quit the job. I relocated to another city because I was like, God, at this point, I was even confused. I was just like, God, you really need to help me because what do I do? So all of this happened in 2023. I think I worked there for about 6 months before resigning. So I resigned, moved to another city. I was just doing local. Because at that point I was like, I'm not really ready to start something serious. So I was doing more of local. And then in 2024, I was like, okay, let me start this again. I booked for Ariat again, prepared at this point. I don't know. I still didn't use any tutorial. I did preparation by myself with YouTube resources and some videos and a lot of resources out there. I used all of this. I sat for this exam, and then the result I got was actually worse than what I had before. And I was like, God, what is this? In fact, I was angry, and that very day, I wanted to book for the exam again. And then I had this friend who also had written IELTS, and she didn't call well. So we're like, okay, should we move to USMLE? I think USMLE, they don't get to write IELTS before starting. And then even much later, it's OET that is recommended for you to write. And for you all medics out there, you know that OET is more lenient, it's medical oriented and all of that. So as a medical professional, it will be way much easier for us to write. So she was like, okay, why not? Although I had known about OET, but I was always skeptical, always reluctant to register because it's way more expensive. So she's like, why not just go ahead and write? Although it's expensive, right? But once you pass this exam, you won't really think about the money. So like I gave it a try. At that point, I think I had some money saved up and I was like, okay, why not? Let me just give it a try. So I booked for this exam. Mind you, the money I used was almost like 2 months of my salary, you know. So I booked for this exam, prepared. This was also, it was actually personal preparation as well. But for this, I was like, I've gone through this English exam, even though not OET, IS wise, and I didn't really make it because reading is always fucking me up. I'm like, I don't want to take chances. The money involved here is a lot. So I actually paid for a tutorial, but then I paid for just one category, which was writing, because I needed people to vet my writing. And then there are no much OET materials out there. Everything you need is on the website. In fact, for someone who has actually prepared for IS, I don't think you really need to do much. You just need to go through the materials on the website, and of course, boom, you are good to go. So I paid for the reading classes. It was amazing. They had series of teachers, although there's one that actually was so somehow. I don't even want to go into that right now. So I sat for this exam in 2, 3 weeks and I passed. Oh my god. It felt so unreal. I was like, God, what the heck? Look at what I spent more than a year preparing for. And for Plab, generally for me, I feel like English exam was the hold because if I had passed my English exam in 2022, my Plab journey would have completed in 2023 at least, you know. But then it was in 2024, the whole of 2023, I didn't even bother writing any exam. It was in 2024 I started all over again. I wrote the OET exam I wrote IELTS around March. Result came out, I didn't really make it. So in August was when I registered for my OET. Yeah, I wrote IELTS in March, and then in August I registered for my OET, wrote, and result came out I think September, and I passed. Woo! I was so excited, and then I went on this. At this point, UK job market for Plabas, GMC registered dog, newly IMGs was becoming saturated. A lot of people were even losing hope in the whole Plab journey, but I was like, I have to keep my faith strong. I have to have faith. So I went ahead, booked for my exam, which was for February 2025. So I booked for my exam. And then immediately I joined some study groups, which helped me a lot. So like God sent. Immediately I registered for Plabibu, but I felt like I was so in rush to register for this Plabibu because I registered for Plabibu way before we started discussion in my study group. And at that point I was confused. I didn't even really understand this Plabibu, how to use it and all of that. So by the time we start, and I think I subscribed for 5 months. I should have planned it in such a way that my subscription will last me until my exam date. I don't know if you understand what I'm trying to say. Oh, that's that for that. So I wrote my Plab one in February of 2025. This was last year, 2025. I see this like years ago. So I wrote my Plab one in 2025 February, and then result came out. Our result came out was it April thereabout, and then come Plab two. There was no seats. And then we had to really plan well because Plab 2 is not just about the exam. You have to plan to your bank statement, your visa. You have to plan very well. So, but initially, I was looking forward to August because I wanted to write it as soon as possible and get done with this whole exam stuff. But I didn't really get date for August. I think the earliest date I got was October. And then I was trying to work on my bank statement. So and the lady who was advising me, who has applied for visa because of like, ah, that's too close. I should maybe November. But eventually, I had this friend that we had written Plab one together, and she wanted to write in December. So I was like, why not? It's better you do it to someone than doing it alone. So I went ahead and booked for Plab 2 for December of 2025. And boom, preparation started. Lab one is amazing. Studying, MCQ. I love studying for MCQ exam. But Viva, like clinicals where you need to interact with patients. Studying for it was so draining. Like you have to talk. Like, in fact, I'm going to do a special video about Plateau, what it entails, how the practice go, and all of that. But I mean, studying for it doesn't really go in as smoothly as it was for Lab one because people were not really turning up. Sometimes you would organize that okay, you meet at so time to discuss. When that time comes, people might show up, but they might not want to talk or they might be in a noisy place. Unlike Lab one, that it doesn't matter where you are, you can just make your comments on the questions you're practicing and all of that, and just select your answers. Lab two was a whole different ball game, and there's a lot of things involved. Yeah, guys. So, but finally, I wrote my exam in December and I passed. So, mind you, I wrote my Plab one once. I passed on my first attempt. Plab two, I wrote once and I passed on my first attempt. In fact, when I was writing my Plab two, I told God, you know what I've been through. You even know my finances. You know my challenges. So, I have to pass this exam in one sitting. So, I put in all my energy and really prepare. I prepared really so hard, and I was so glad that I passed this exam in one sitting because during preparation, people will scare you. You will see people that are so intelligent, people that will be teaching you. They will tell you that I've written this. They will tell you, oh, I've written this exam 3 times, and you'll be like, God, what do I even know? What am I? God, you just have to help me. So this whole journey, you actually need God to be honest. So, but I was glad I was able to pass in one sitting. I know that it's not as if I more intelligent than those who didn't make it. It's not as if I'm wiser and all of that, but it's by the grace of God. So that's my Plab journey, my journey to GMC registration. Even though the job market is very saturated, I just wanted to give out my whole story out there because someone might be going through writing an exam. It mustn't be Plab. It could even be USMLE, AMC, Canadian exams, any exam at all. And you might be feeling it doesn't matter how the journey is going, as long as you know you are able to push through and you're not giving up. All right. So right now, things have changed. There are no jobs out there for IMGs. There's even this new law which is to prioritize UK graduates and all and their citizens and all that. So it's as though they want to render us that our investments is of no use and people are turning to other countries like Australia, Canada, New Zealand and the rest. But at the end of the day, I know that something will work out for us. Anyway, this is not a motivation. But anyway, if you watch this video from beginning to end, this is so long. Thank you for watching this video. Thank you for watching my rant. I was all over the place, but I'm glad you followed through. You never might know who this might help. Just share it out there with your medics and all that. And I'll see you in my next video. Bye and kiss.